going on, everybody? It's Jared from Gaming Headquarters, and today we will be continuing with the Star Trek Online quest walkthrough. So, in the last episode, we completed the tutorial areas and Welcome to Earth Space Dock. And in today's episode, we will be doing the next mission in the Klingon story arc, Klingon War story arc, which will be Diplomatic Orders. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, if you need to accept said mission, you can go by hitting J to the journal, and you can hail directly from here, or go into your episodes, Klingon War story arc, and hit hail from here. So, the synopsis of this mission is that we are to transport a Klingon monk from his monastery in Vulcan to P'Jem, which is like their sacred holy site that they go to for meditation and spiritual stuff. So, as you can see on the top right hand side, Diplomatic Orders, we locate Ambassador Soketh on Vulcan. So, if you remember in the last episode, I mentioned how you can transwarp to the starting location. So this button, if you click it, will ask you if you would like to transwarp to the Beta Quadrant. You hit OK, and then it will transwarp you to that location. So most missions going forward will have that option available to you. Unfortunately, it won't work for every single mission, so you kind of have to just, take it as it comes. So, we're going to go ahead and enter the Vulcan system to get started with our mission.
The Federation is doing its utmost to protect its borders and the billions of innocents who call this space. But I fear that this conflict may be our undoing.
Alright, go ahead and land the shuttle.
Starfleet shuttlecraft.
Go ahead and skip all the cinematics for you. Alright, cool. So, we're going to go all the way up to the top here and speak with Ambassador Soketh. Alright, and as you can see, we are now to speak with T'Pel, Ambassador Soketh's aide. So, we'll speak with aide T'Pel. T'Pela. Alright, so we have to go speak with High Priest Saven over here.
Peace and do Soketh accuse. Do you seek knowledge of the end? I will permit it.
Return back to Ambassador Soketh.
Welcome. Do you have any questions? Excellent.
Wait for him to speak with T'Pela. Alright, now we're going to run back down to the shuttle. Board the shuttle and return back to the ship.
We have logged your flight trajectory, and you are cleared for departure.
Alright, we'll return back to the bridge. And then we can depart the system and make our way to P'Jem. Sorry about that. A lot of these tutorial icons are a little annoying. So you can transwarp if you'd like, but P'Jem is legitimately right here. So you just warp your way over there. It'll take you just a second to get over to P'Jem. So something I do want to mention since I'm thinking about it. You can see here that this sun is labeled as the P'Jem system. So if you skip the transwarp or you cannot transwarp to something, sometimes it won't be this sun. Sometimes you'll have to get close to the actual planet or one of the planets in that system in order to get this menu to pop up. I know at first I was very confused. I always thought if you just go to the sun it'll count. Sometimes you actually have to go towards the planets, so just something to keep in mind. Alright, so we'll begin diplomatic orders. Also, this is a good little thing that they'll put the different events and whatnot right here. So, different events for you to take part in and whatnot, different rewards to get, things of that nature. So, it's always a good thing to keep up with all of this, especially if you decide to like the game and you want to create more characters. You can get a lot of really cool gear that will be very costly to make up on the back end. Alright, scan the energy pattern. Essentially, the interaction there is where the Klingons are accusing Ambassador Soketh of being a Undine infiltrator, which basically, long story short, if you don't know the lore, is a shapeshifter, if you would, that basically assume that everything living in our universe is beneath them. It's kind of like a superiority complex. And so, the Klingons try to stop them, and they're like, well, we don't know if it's possible, whatever. And, so after we beat them, it's kind of like, okay, well, you're wrong, we beat you, goodbye. That type of thing. So, alright, so now what we're going to do is we have to get up to here. So there'll be a hill path you follow to get to there, and there will be a few Klingon patrols that you have to defeat on your way there. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, along this path, I'm going to go to each of them. But I know of a few different loot crates you can get. Now, loot crates are not very common. Once you start getting into later missions, it's only these beginning missions that seem to give you those loot crates. So, while you're here, it never hurts to take them. It's free stuff, so I wouldn't complain. Also, in the last episode, I mentioned about the directional finder that will help you find your mission objectives and whatnot. It also can be used to find R&D materials. So as you saw when I used it this last time, it said there are 4 anomalies in the area. Well, an anomaly could be like a little mini game you'll play. So I'll go find one to show you what an anomaly is and how you kind of are able to use it to get R&D material. But basically with that you can create weapons and ship's gear, warp cores, shields, the whole 9 yards. R&D systems, it's pretty nice, but it's also pretty tedious to build up to. So here's another loot crate right here. Keep going up the hill. Alright, gonna continue up the path. More loot back here. Speak to the monk. Keep going up. Don't forget to grab your loot find it on the ground. That can be very important to you. Alright, so new respawn points unlocked, and usually indicates that there's a boss battle of some kind about to come up, so definitely keep track on your health and cooldowns and things of that nature. A loot crate here. Ah, perfect. Over here is one of the anomalies. So you'll walk up to it, and it'll say scanned uranium ore. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna play a little mini game where you have to match the waveforms. So basically, you want to take the red waveform and impose it on the blue before the time runs out. It's a really easy game to play. You know, if you can find them all, it's good. If you want to take the time to do all that. I know me personally, I've got so many R&D materials between different characters because a lot of the time they're just common R&D loot materials. They're not even anything special. So I'll show you another event. So you see this right here is your timer. Impose the red over the blue. I always advise doing length over width, because once you get your height, your length properly figured out, then you'll be able to take your width and get that figured out. Fight these few warriors real quick. Alright. So, there will be an incoming message, which we can ignore. I know down here, I believe there's another loot crate as well as another R&D material. So for this particular mission, I will show you, where these different loot or R&D materials are at. But going forward, just keep your eye open. Use your little mini-map compass or your little scan, and then that'll help you find them. And it applies in space as well. It's not just a ground thing. You can also use that in space, and it will give you the direction of R&D materials, because there's also space R&D materials. So, okay, I'm not going all the way down there, but the last one's down that direction, so happy hunting. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back up here, and then we're going to receive the incoming message. Alright, we'll go ahead and receive it.
I have terrible news. You need...
Essentially, what they've discovered is that Ambassador Soketh actually was murdered, and the person who is currently in his body
Such emotion on your face.
is actually the
I see
Undine.
now my deception has been exposed. Pity. Capturing the abbot so we could replace him as well would have been beneficial. But we are strong. We will prevail. You are weak, and the weak shall perish.
Alright. Fight him. This is also one of the missions that they've updated as well. So what used to happen is that you would have to fight the Klingons. The Klingons would run all the way down, or the Klingon would be a shapeshifter because he would change from Ambassador Soketh to the captain of the ship. He'd run all the way down there, and then you had to go fight him down there, and he'd beam up. So this is another one of those missions that they've changed over time. So you'll beam back up to your ship, and then the second battle begins. Alright, so what's about to happen is we're about to have a battle with the Undine ship. So, as you can see here, it's letting you know about incoming torpedoes, destructible torpedoes, and things of that nature. So essentially what will happen is certain ships have the ability to launch torpedoes at you that you can actually shoot and destroy before they hit you, right? And so what you want to do is you want to use tab to switch over to those torpedoes. That way you can destroy them, because some of them, like the plasma torpedoes or even the 8472, the Undine's torpedoes, will slow you down, things like that. So what you want to do is you really want to try to destroy as many as possible. Sometimes it's a little harder to do. No, it's impossible. But, you know, just make it happen, as they say. Alright. So, switch our energy to defensive mode. There it is. Plasma torpedo. So we have to hold out for reinforcements to arrive. So for this one, I wouldn't focus so much on trying to damage the Undine ship, just because, you know, unfortunately, you're not going to beat them. That's just how it is. It's not how the mission was designed. So what I would suggest is kind of just taking a defensive approach, flipping your shield rotations, flipping your configurations, and kind of just trying your best to destroy any of the incoming destructible torpedoes. So, as you can see, a few Federation starships have arrived to help us. And now you can go into full offensive mode. So, correction, the destructible torpedoes in this one don't slow you down, but the non-destructible ones do. Don't remember who it was, but I know one species, they do slow you down. Pretty nasty, actually. So unfortunately at the start, you know, this is going to be a really, really tough battle. You're just going to have to do a lot of work to try to stay alive, and you know, eventually you'll wear them down, you'll beat them, but it's going to be a real uphill battle. So I'd highly recommend you know, try to do what you can. I'm a DPS guy, so it's not really as easy for me as it would be an engineer, because they're more tanky. Just like that, the enemy is destroyed. Now we scan debris. Incoming message.
This is Captain LaForge of the USA.
And we can depart the system, and it won't let us. So you have to wait until you stand down from red alert. But as you can see here, there's some hexafluorine gas, some magnesite ore, hexafluorine, I believe, over there, and then, or not hexafluorine. I don't remember what that one is off the top of my head. But yeah, so you can, do the same thing. You hit V, it'll give you the same beacon, and it'll take you towards R&D. However, I have plenty of it, so I'm not worried about it. But it might be something for you to, keep in mind. Alright, and just like that, we have completed the mission Diplomatic Orders. So, in order to turn these missions in, you'll have, if you don't have the automatic hailing turn on, you just go up here to this little portrait-looking icon, you click it, and then you come down here, and some missions may have rewards for you to choose. This one doesn't, so just go ahead and hit and continue,
Congratulations.
and that's it. You've leveled up. So, I appreciate you spending time with me today. If you like this video, please drop it a like. If I've earned your subscription, hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell so that way you're notified when I release the next episode. And until next time, guys, happy gaming.